What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional. We're in the book of John. We're going over a unique view or gospel of who Jesus is. And this is Trust in Jesus Ministry. So I hope that by studying the scriptures with me, you are beginning to trust in Jesus just a little bit more. That's my goal. If I'm not reaching that goal, man, then let me know. But if I am, go ahead and give me a like or subscribe or a review, or check out the other websites that we've got to help you grow even further in your trust in Jesus at trustinjesusministries.com. We've got a lot of content over there where you can read, you can listen, you can watch, and it all help you to grow in your faith and your trust in who the Savior is, because, man, he is infinitely worthy of trust. And I definitely want you to meet him, man. He's my best friend. You know what I mean? He's the one in whom all things flow from. So I want you to meet him, and I want you to know him more. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into John. So if you've already read 10:6, we're going to jump into it. I'm sorry, 10:16. But if you ain't, stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, and then come back, and then we'll discuss it. And then you'll get a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit more of a glimpse of who Jesus is, what he's doing, and how he's doing it. Anyway, if you've already read, then we're going to go ahead and jump into it. What does John chapter 10, verse 16 say? Well, Jesus was given a discourse. Again, we're talking about him being the shepherd, the gate, or the door. And then now he has something that is about us. Because I guess maybe some of you guys are of the Jewish or Hebrew background, but I assume, which I don't want to assume, you never want to assume, that most are Gentiles. And so he says, this is about us, man. He says, but I have other sheep that are not of this fold. And he says that those he's got to lead to us so that when we hear his voice, we become one flock under one shepherd. So this right here is amazing because it speaks to who we are. As Jesus does this monologue, he says that there's other sheep in another fold that he's going to bring together. And that's us, because the first flock, the first sheep, the first group that he's protecting and caring for is his people. He come to reach the lost people of Israel first, and then afterwards he goes and he brings the Gentiles into the fold. That's something that Paul talks about in Romans too. He says to the Gentile first, and then to the Greek or the barbarian or the Scyth or whatever. And so we get to be a part of this family. God is calling us out, which was always the plan in the first place, is that he as Yahweh would call Israel as a people to display the glory of his name to the world, that we might know and recognize him and love him. And so Jesus is going to do the thing. He is the picture. He is the par excellence, I've been saying here in a couple of episodes, of the Israelite people. And he is the Messiah, the Savior, the one who represents the Israel people. But now, not only that, but all of humanity. And so as he's Israel people, he is going to call us out. And we're going to be a part of his family, a part of his fold. So what does this say about God? Well, it says that he unites, that he takes things that may have been at enmity and he brings them together. If you went through the book of Ephesians with us, you would have, we went across the fact that he takes those who seem to be at odds ends or opposing forces, and he brings them into one humanity, one new nature, and that's the Christian. And so in the same way, Jesus is saying this here. He's saying that he's taking two folds of sheep, and some who may be far off, may not even be close, but he says he's going to draw them together and they will become one flock. We will be one people under one shepherd, and that's Christ. And so if we just think about it, that's the church under the leadership and the headship of Jesus. So God unites, man. And the application is, man, trust in him, because he can bring together things that we think would never mix. He does that. That's what's so awesome about God. What does this say about man? Is man, as Christians, do we recognize his voice? What's so unique about this? It says he's got other folds, other sheep that are different folds, and he says they know his voice and they come to him and he leads them. And so it's not like he's leaving anybody out. Those who the Father has given him, they will hear and recognize his voice, and they will come, and they will be a part of this flock, this one flock, and under this one shepherd, Jesus. It will happen. But I think what it also says about man is to listen to his voice. Because it does not only say they recognize, but it says that he must lead them. And so if we hear his voice, then we will follow him. And that's a big thing that happens in this book. It's not that we just believe because, well, it is that we just believe. But belief, as we continue to read through this gospel, is an action. It's trusting. And it's saying that when we think that God or know that God will do something, then we follow him because we know he's going to do it, or because we know that what he says is good for us, and we trust that what he says for us to do will bring him glory and benefit us. So we do it. And that's the thing, is that the sheep know that the shepherd, because he's the good shepherd, the shepherd that all people should be, and so the sheep follow him. They're like, well, I know he's going to supply my needs. We will follow him. I know that he's going to protect me from all harm. So we'll follow him. And that's the thing about this, is that as Christians, we recognize his voice and we are led by him because we know that he's going to protect us and provide for us. And so what is this application for this? How do we apply these truths to our lives? Well, I guess the big question is, are you following him? It's not just hearing his voice; it's listening. When your mom's like, "Man, you hear me, but you're not listening. You hear me, but you're not listening." It's because you're not doing what she says. You're not doing what your father says. So, in the same way, that's what we must do: is not only just hear his voice, but listen to it, follow it. Look at your life. Are you following his voice? And then, secondly, are you maintaining the unity? There is a big idea here that Jesus unifies all men together. And so are we doing what we can to sustain and maintain that unity? Paul says in some other scriptures that he'll do all that he can to be pleasing to men because he wants to maintain that unity. He also says bear each other's burdens. He says forgive each other, because all of these things help to embrace and maintain the unity that Christ has created by his sacrifice and his resurrection. Hey, I appreciate you guys for listening, man, and I will see you in the next episode.